Well, I think we've got the first movie, maybe, of 2022 that I think is going to be a big awards contender this year. Let's talk about The Woman King. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film in theaters only, and I think that's a good thing. I think this is where you need to see it. The Woman King. And this stars Viola Davis. We'll get into the specifics here in a moment, but I believe, like I said up front, this is going to be the first major awards contender of 2022. I think it's got a lot of the elements that the Academy loves, and I think it is possibly worthy of those upcoming accolades as well. So before we get into the movie, I want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thanks for finding this video. I review all of the movies and TV shows out there. Not all, I guess. There's a lot, but as many as I can get to, really. I do TV news and reviews every single week, and then movies, when I see them, I review them for you. And I always put, for anything that I think is going to be a possible Oscar contender in a major category, I put the Oscar watch notice in the title, which you can see here. And so I'm going to start doing that because I think we're in the season here. Usually October is when a lot of the big Oscar movies start coming out, but I think this one, is definitely worthy of that moniker, and we'll find out why here as we go. But this is a historical, epic film based in the 1820s. And it is set in the West African kingdom of Dahomey, and it's all about the Agoge, or Agoji, and it's about an entire battalion of women warriors who are fighting their enemies, and this is based on, a lot of true things. Now, the specific characters in this movie are not necessarily real people, but the themes and the basic premise of this movie is very real. I read a little bit into it after watching the movie, because I always, when it's a true story, I always want to find out, how true is the story. And really, the things that happen in this movie, for the most part, the touchstones are real. There were these warriors, these all-female warriors, the Agaji, who, were all about not getting married, not having children. They were all about fighting and all of that kind of stuff. But the one main character that was real is this King Gezo, who is John Boyega from the Star Wars, the recent Star Wars movies. But other than him and Viola Davis, who plays General Nansika, I don't really know anybody else in this movie. Lashana Lynch, Thuzo Mabido, Sheila Atim, Adrienne Warren. These are names I don't recognize. I didn't recognize their faces. And Viola Davis is almost unrecognizable too. She puts on this, crazy good accent. And in some scenes you could be like, oh yeah, that's Viola Davis. But a lot of the time you're like, I don't know, if you didn't know it was Viola Davis. But this is a movie that I would say is not necessarily my type of movie. I don't go in for the big historical epics, right? But this movie reminds me of a couple of different things in all good ways. I think this is a Black Panther type movie, because you have all of these, African-American warriors, but without the constraints of having to adhere to sort of a Marvel tentpole story, right? Nobody here has superpowers. These are real deal people. But a lot of the cinematography here reminded me of Black Panther. A lot of the fighting kind of scenes were a little bit of that sort of nature. And this really gives us a great insight into the culture of the time and of this area. And I think Black Panther did that very well too. Obviously, Wakanda's not real, but, in that, African culture, let's say. But the other thing is, it reminds me of a lot of these classic and this is why I say, I really think it's going to be up for some Oscars. Or at least in contention. It reminds me a lot of the classic, like 50s and 60s big epic movies, like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments, and the scope of this movie is just amazing, and the cinematography really brings you into this world, and with these warriors and with these people. So the fighting is amazing. The fight scenes, the choreography, it looks great. Now, the director here, I was unfamiliar with the name, Gina Price Blythewood, but she's done some movies that I really, really enjoyed. The Old Guard being a great example in the action realm. That was a Charlize Theron movie on Netflix in 2020. But she's also done some quieter films, Secret Life of Bees, that I really enjoyed. Beyond the Lights, which I really, really liked. That was a very sort of unknown movie from 2014, but I think it was nominated for a Best Song Oscar. It was, like a musical movie, but or about a singer, I should say. But so, I mean, these are all great, great movies with great black leads, and I don't know if you can get Viola Davis. Is there a better lead, black or otherwise? I honestly think Viola Davis is one of the greatest actresses out there. I took notice of her for the first time in Doubt, which she was in, I think, one scene for, and she got nominated for supporting actress. That's how powerful that scene was. And then I think the next year, or maybe 2 years later, was The Help. She was amazing in that, of course. She has never, in my opinion, given a false performance, given a half-assed performance, nothing less than 100 and more percent for Viola Davis. And here she just transforms into this role. Again, the accent is something I've never heard before out of her, and it was, perfect. She didn't, it didn't waver at all. It was great. And she really, I think, is great at playing these powerful women, even in a more silly environment like the Suicide Squad movies. She still, like every second she's on screen, she is just so commanding. You cannot take your eyes off of her. And I think part of it is her voice. She's got this incredibly powerful voice. But look, this is going to get nominated, I think, or at least be in heavy contention for not only Viola Davis for lead actress, but I certainly think the costumes here are very important. The score. Now, the score I go back and forth on, because in terms of nominations, the score is excellent. But a lot of, I think, sort of the environment of this movie and bringing you in is this culture. They do like tribal songs and stuff, and that's not necessarily like score, but it's, the actors and actresses in the movie, doing, the heavy drum beats and the chanting and stuff, and it is amazing. Like, it brings you right into this world. So I loved that. I'm not sure, if the whole score even lives up to that, but the score, itself is great too, the orchestration and stuff. So I think we can look for those. But also, I think this supporting actress, Thuso Mabidu, I believe is how you would pronounce it, could get a supporting actress nomination. She is sort of the main one of the women that are learning to be warriors. Viola Davis is sort of the head of that, but there's a whole bunch of people under her, and she plays sort of the main one. She's a bit rebellious, but she also, is the most talented too. We've seen that before. So, but, I don't know. The Academy goes back and forth on, like, do we nominate completely unheard of people? They've done it a few times. Barkhad Abdi in Captain Phillips is certainly a great example. I'm not sure if anything in this movie will be memed so much as I'm the Captain now from that movie. But I think she gives a tremendous performance as well. So, and could this be up for Best Picture? Maybe. I mean, it's that good. I really, really loved this movie. Obviously, we don't know everything, that happened back in the 1820s. Certainly, I would think they were not keeping great records, right, of in tribes like this or whatever. So I think it makes sense that, okay, we'll just sort of make people up for this movie. But, yeah, I mean, as far as what I read, all of the sort of the points in the plot, the main stuff that happens in this movie, in general, was all true to life, and it looks amazing on the screen. You gotta see this on the big screen. Don't wait for it to be on streaming. This for me is one of the best films of the year. I'm gushing and gushing and gushing about it. I give The Woman King an A. It's easily one of the best movies of the year. I'm excited to see what else is coming up for Oscar season, because so far, look, my other favorite movies of the year are not going to be up for Oscars. Chippendale Rescue Rangers and Honor Society, which is like a high school comedy kind of thing. So this and Top Gun, which I gave an A- to, Top Gun Maverick, I think are probably the two best contenders so far for a lot of awards action. So we'll see how all that shakes out. But all right, that will do it. Thank you so much for watching my review, and I'll see you next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.